The EU has recently signed a historic trade agreement, the Mercosur, but farmers across the continent are taking it to the streets. What's behind this anger, and is it really justified? Today, we're going to discuss about these and many more topics in an episode in the European Parliament with Cristina Guarda. Check it out. Can you tell us why farmers are so outraged about this deal?
I am a farmer too. We are feeling of being betrayed by EU and by our national government. Why some agri sector will make good money out of it and will find new market, the other ones are going to pay all the costs. We will be in a very chaotic and messy situation where we won't be able to produce any more food in Europe. There are no real safeguards offered by the European level, because these safeguards are reactive, not proactive. So they intervene only when the damage is already done. And I'm going to close my farm because of this late reaction. We are forgetting that the basic of the security of European citizens starts from what is on their plate. I feel it's a sort of political crime.
Our guest, Cristina Guarda, is a member of the European Parliament and one of the most prominent critics of the EU-Mercosur trade deal. Previously a farmer herself, she claims that the deal will have a catastrophic impact on farmers and their livelihoods. As member of the Greens Party, she was a vocal promoter of the campaign that challenged the deal at the European Court of Justice. She accuses the European Commission of sacrificing its farmers for the benefit of other sectors and believes European farmers are fighting for their survival. Cristina, thanks a lot for being here. We're very excited, and thanks for hosting us here in the European Parliament.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a very big pleasure to share also this experience, massive experience about Mercosur and trades.
Can you tell us why farmers are so outraged about this deal?
I am a farmer too. We are feeling of being betrayed by EU and by our national government, because also our national and the 27 member states approved this type of trade, and because we feel that this is a sort of a way to put in the center of our working life an unfair competition, a big unfair competition to different production standards and cars for cows.
Yeah.
We need a strategy to produce food for European, food for Italian people, food for our local regional European market, in order to be more autonomous in this particular geopolitical moment where the insecurity is basically creating a lot of difficulties in every sector, but in particular in the food production. Want to talk also about this. Protesters fear an influx of cheaper agricultural food products from Brazil and neighboring countries, with specific concern about pesticides that are banned in the EU, but still produced in the EU to export in these Southern American countries. So we often complain that farmers are against environment, animal welfare and food safety rules, and they are against standards for our environmental security. But now farmers in Europe are fighting in favor of the safeguard of this type of standards and are asking to us to make the others be on the same page as Europe, because we as farmers know specifically that if we don't have any type of environmental strategy to support the capacity to produce food, because without nature, without biodiversity, we cannot create food, we will be in a very chaotic and messy situation where we won't be able to produce any more food in Europe.
Taking the point on climate, indeed, the EU production in terms of emission fall by 29%, but the consumption remains stable. So in this sense, doing an agreement with Latin American country where you import agricultural food from the other side of the world regardless of the quality. This increases emissions. So is the European Commission being coherent in its green strategy while pursuing these agreements?
Obviously, it is not coherent. And obviously, the EU right now is sabotaging its own laws. If you think about the deforestation regulation, the EUDR was passed to keep deforestation products out of the EU-Mercosur, does not opposite.
Yeah.
So,
And also the impact on the EU economy of
Yes.
this Mercosur deal is basically null. So it's around 0.05% by 2040, while for the Mercosur countries a bit more, but still
Yes.
not very significant, but in comparison significant. In this context, if it leads to EU unemployment, negative repercussion on climates, and is not impactful for the EU economy, why did the EU sign this deal in the first place? Like, what was the motivation behind?
I don't have any answer because I cannot understand them completely. And I feel that maybe they are doing it now because of the international situation and the extra power of Trump in this particular case, because Trump, Putin, and China are separating the world in three parts in order to control these three parts, and we are under, with the Mercosur member states under the big head of Trump leadership. I don't know. I don't think it's enough.
It's geopolitics for you, maybe.
I don't think it's enough to say that the motivation is geopolitical. Maybe there are interests from lobbying activity that are obviously not taking me in consideration, so they didn't talk about the strategy. And I feel that maybe, yes, the mechanic sector in Europe paid a lot because of their incapacity to be reactive to the market, to the new necessity of the market, in particular the automotive sector. So they are trying to put some solution on the table in order to not to close. Because and they are asking the EU to support them, in particular because EU failed in their absence of their industrial strategy, because we don't have an industrial strategy in Europe, clear industrial strategy. We didn't put money when we talked about the strategy for the Green Deal. We didn't put enough money in order to finance the industries in order to be able to compete in the market. And the industries didn't ask it because they were focused on going against the Green Deal, and that's all. And so we are paying our debts now, and it is not correct to make agricultural sector to pay for the mistake of others.
If this trade deal stays as it is now, you're afraid that it will impact food security, but concretely, what could happen? How many of the EU farmers could go out of business for this trade deal?
I think that the cereal sector, the rice sector, also the Prosecco sector, since in Brazil for 10 years they are going to be able, thanks to this deal, to produce Glera wine, grapes, and so to labeling it like Prosecco for 10 years. Okay, it's not useful also for one of the most important sector of wine in Italy. So I feel that there will be a lot of difficulties for different sectors, in particular meat sector, the cereal and rice ones, but also to the vegetables and fruits for conservation products. And I feel that the great problem will be that while we are boosting this type of trade, we have no strategy in order to boost the production inside Europe and to support really farmers, and also the generational renewal in the farming sector in Europe.
Today we talk a lot about these protests, which have been around in the whole of Europe. So I think in Brussels the farming lobby is perceived as very strong, but obviously this deal has been in negotiations for 25 years. So there was a lot of time to lobby by all parts, and it seems that if your impression is correct, the farming lobby did not succeed to get through their interests, right?
Yes, obviously. And you know, if you are talking about an agreement that is based on 25 years ago strategies, maybe you are not doing a good strategy now, because 25 years, I have 36 years, and I was a child when it was this discussion initially began. So I have to admit, we cannot base our strategy on something that is made on the past. But I know by my regional also political experience that we are now boosting a lot of projects based on 19 or 20s political activity, and because now we are not able to create a strategy for this particular time. So I feel that politically we are doing what is needed from others, and we are react to the pressure that we receive from others, and we are not thinking deeply about our responsibility to be a politician and responsible for the regulation and the strategy from now on, for the common good and not from the lobbying activity.
The European Commission on Mercosur, on this aspect of prices that you just mentioned, put into place several measures in order to counteract the lower prices coming from Mercosur. Concretely, are these measures enough for you?
There are no real safeguards offered by the European level, because you know these safeguards are reactive, not proactive. So they intervene only when the damage is already done, and I'm going to close my farm because of this late reaction. Secondly, the thresholds are too high and they are too complex to be activated. And this is a very big problem that we are seeing also in other trades ongoing. And they are also unilateral measures. They are not part of the deal. So we can talk about it, but if the Mercosur countries will not agree to be part of this game, we are fucked. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And you are a farmer yourself.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, where does the battle go from here? Because, of course, you try to challenge the Mercosur trade deal in front of the European Court of Justice. But what else can still be done? The deal is signed. Normally, it should enter into force. Is it too late now, or can you still react?
I don't know precisely if it is too late, but I feel that if the Court of Justice can do something, it can be in order to change this trade, respecting the cost of production, the impact on climate change, the difficulties of being also young farmers in this very competitive sector. So if the Court of Justice can do something, is to change and preserve these type of aspects that are related with trades in general. You know, we have some example of good trades, and as Greens, we tried also to explore alternatives, how we would like this trade to be. So we tried to analyze which type of integration for sustainability, for the hierarchy clause to prioritize international environmental and labor standards. This type of proposal, we put it on the table. And we asked to this parliament and also to the member state, please, don't support deals like this one, because it is based on wrong clauses and on wrong approaches. In fact, we supported, for example, the New Zealand one. The New Zealand trade included binding and enforceable commitment to international labor and environmental standards, including Paris Agreement. And these type of trades can be the one that can create a good environment in the world trade competition, asking to be propositive and yes, to boost good type of production instead of going in on lower standards. And this is what I wanted to put on the table, and what as a farmer I really wanted to see from Europe.
You linked agriculture to several sectors and measures of the economy, but on one hand, the share of agriculture on the GDP decreased from 10% in the 60s to around 1.2, 1.3%. So in this case, are we politically failing to communicate the importance of agriculture?
Yes, I think so. I think that we are not talking deeply about the necessity to be autonomous and to create a strategy for the European agriculture policy. We have the CAP system ongoing, but we are transforming this European strategy into a national strategy now with the new budget. So the proposal of the Commission is a sort of nationalization of the funds, every type of funds, in particular the strategy for the agriculture, and we are not able to defend it because we are forgetting that the basic of the security of European citizens starts from what is on their plate. I feel that we are not making clear that the stability of Europe is based also on our capacity to produce food, quality food, not only high valuable type of foods and drinks that is yes, interesting for exportation, for this type of trades and so on, but we need to discuss about the basic. We need vegetables and fruit. We need protein that is also plant-based proteins, not only meat. And we need cereals. We need cereals in order to produce food for people, not only feed for livestock. We need to create a strategy that puts these three production at the center, and we cannot talk about only how much we need to pay who has a lot of hectares and so on. We need to define this type of strategy in Europe, and we cannot deal with this uncertainty with the agricultural sector.
And the importance of food quality also on the functioning of the economy. Also, this is a link that I think is missed, that a good, healthy diet with quality food, it also makes people more productive. So the EU economy would also benefit this.
Yes, obviously, if we are talking about competitiveness, that is very common word in this new Parliament and Commission moment, but I feel that also is less costly than unhealthy diet. In this geopolitical situation with war in every part of the world, we see how much will it cost to buy food and to buy quality food. And we cannot be in a Europe without farmers. But we are dying as farmers. We are receiving when a person is doing 100 euros. I don't know what to say in English. I'm sorry.
Subsidy or
support. When people is paying for food 100 euros, we are receiving 6-7 euros as farmers. How can you deal with it? How can be this sector attractive also to young people if you are not able to live? I'm a farmer too, and I needed to do another job to take care of my 2 hectares because I wasn't able to have a good income from what I produced. And it was wine, not of the worst sector as cereal sector or other vegetables, fruit sector that are really in a hard competition with other importation.
And I think you have a very special background in the sense it's not very common. You have a background in agriculture and farming, so I think this makes you also quite a different member of the parliament in terms of your experience. But if you can mention one concrete action and policy you have been really proud of since the start of your mandate for the farmers and for the agriculture in Europe, what could it be?
I'm still working on it, but I feel that the right to stay strategy and the access to land strategy for young farmers and to put at the center of our activity the necessities of young and female farmers is the thing I'm working on that I'm most proud of. And in the meantime, I'm also doing a lot on food security and environmental security because I come from a very polluted area. And I'm producing food in a polluted area, and I'm trying to find way in order not to be part of this massive pollution in damaging our health. And so, you know, what I want is to create policies that makes the future of agriculture, the future of our children's health at the center. And this is what I want to do.
And I think we can close now with one last question. In 10 years, looking forward, in terms of your vision, where would you like to see the EU farming sector in 10 years?
I would like to see a strategy to produce vegetables and fruits, cereals and proteins in a good way in Europe without being dependent from importation. I want to see tools for young farmers and for farmers in order to be able to react to climate crisis, to create their own strategy, changing also their focused production because of, in order to be resilient in this type of hard time for climate. And in the meantime, I want to see farmers in a sort of peace mood with environment and also with green policies.
Thanks a lot, Cristina. Really.
Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank
See
you.
you.